least twice the last voice actors who've come here, and I've gotten really great answers, so I'm going to ask you. In your 20 years, what is the weirdest thing you've had to basically just stand and say in front of the microphone?
In a convention or
No.
while I'm working?
While working.
Probably the weirdest thing I ever had to say was in a show called Gurren Lagann. The thing that still made it to the show, not the stuff that ended up on the floor because I can't say it in this room. But for those of you who don't know that show, he's a robot mechanic and he's in touch with his feminine side. And my favorite thing was when he told the director, who's a very good friend of mine and very, very straight and very conservative, and he said, okay, now you have to do this as gay as you possibly can. And the line was, when you screw it in, give it a hard, manly twist. And so I did. Very different from Wolverine, right? Yeah. Balance, it's all about balance. Thank you.
Next one.
Mr. Blum, well, since you're the greatest voice actor in the history of mankind, I'd like to ask you, who's your favorite voice actor?
Oh, man. Well, first of all, my son is Mr. Blum. He's a teacher. I'm just Steve. Secondly, my favorites, well, I loved Mel Blanc growing up.
Yes.
But in recent history, I would say Frank Welker. And for those of you who don't know Frank Welker's work, he's the voice of Scooby-Doo and Freddy and every animal you've ever heard in every Disney movie. He's one of the most talented, amazing human beings I've ever known, and a really, really nice guy. And when I first met him, I was working on Scooby-Doo, and I had my fanboy moment. I think I actually and he was so great. He gave me his phone number, and he said, if you ever need advice or anything, just give me a call. And he's that kind of a guy. And then I got to work with him in Transformers Prime. He's my Megatron. Yeah! So that was my little fanboy dream come true. But I love everybody. There's so many people in the industry that are so incredibly talented. All of my friends, when I'm working in the room with them, I will just sit and as they're going at the microphone, I'll just go, oh my God, that's amazing. And we all do that for each other. That's the great thing about the industry is that we're all fans and we love each other's work. So I'm blown away every single day by the talent in the rooms. It's cool.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Hi.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me here.
How much of you is in each and every character you played? Do you think there's a connection between you and the characters in order to play?
There has to be. I think any actor will tell you who's willing to invest themselves that way. I think that every character has a little bit of the actor's personality to bring that character to life. Otherwise, you're just copying something else. I mean, and things like Starscream, for example. There have been so many people who have done Starscream before. I was terrified to take on that role. And I love their work, the work that preceded me. And so I had to find something from me that would make it a little bit different for that version of it. And on the other side of that, I think that I take on a little bit of each of the characters too. They become part of my personality to some degree. And it's a weird relationship. And when I say that I have a lot of voices in my head and they need a safe place to escape, it's really kind of true. Because I've always, since I was a little boy, I've made up stories in my head. I've read stories out loud. I used to read to my kids out loud or read for children at their schools. And it's just something that I have to naturally do. I have to get that out of my body. So
they answer your questions when you have something in your head?
Pardon me?
When you are talking to yourself, you feel like Starscream is asking you a question or telling you something.
Sometimes I hear it in his voice. Yeah, I do. I mean, I can look at a newspaper and I can start reading it and I start hearing voices of what it might sound like coming from different characters. Not even my own necessarily, but other characters. So.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's an illness.
Hey, well, I'm a big fan of yours, especially from Toonami, and I just wanted to know, there's been a lot of Toms in Toonami. Which do you think has been the better host of?
That's a really tough question. Well, I've been all of the Toms except for one.
Yeah, except for...
So that's kind of a bipolar question. I don't know. Are you talking about the look of the character?
Or or how?
It's been kind of the same personality throughout, even when he was the little guy with the big eyes that everybody had problems with. He's still the same personality, so.
Yeah.
I mean, Tom, for me, Tom is Tom. He's been the same guy all the way along, except for Sonny Strait's version, which was a little bit different. Yeah. Yeah, I love them all. I love the one I'm doing right now. I mean,
Yeah.
the answer that I have when people ask me what my favorite character is, I'll say the character I'm working on today. And so I'm literally working on Tom. We broadcasted last night. And
Yeah.
so I was still being Tom last night. So that's my favorite one.
Thanks.
Hi.
Hi, I'm a big fan of you too. Like I call him Tom also. This is of all the anime you've ever done. This is probably going to be a hard choice. What has been your favorite role?
Yeah, it's whatever I'm working on today. That's why I just said that. Yeah, it's just that I can't choose. You know, each one holds a different place in my heart and my brain. And probably the most pivotal one for me in my career has been Spike. That's Spike's voice right there. So I had him carved into my arm because I connect with him so strongly. And Spike led to, I booked the role of Tom because of Spike. And Megas XLR, if you guys see Megas XLR. That's one of the few shows I didn't have to audition for because I was Spike. And they just love the character. The guys are fans of the anime. So it's been a very pivotal thing for my whole life and my whole career. And was it 15 years later, you guys still love Cowboy Bebop just as much as we did.
Yeah!
And for me, that holds a really special place in the heart. But there's so many. I mean, Vincent Valentine is amazing, and Orochimaru, and Yomon from Digimon. They're all so cool for different reasons. So I can't pick favorites. It's like choosing which finger to cut off.
Thanks.
Okay.
Mr. Blum, how are you?
I'll still speak, but
First of all, thank you for reviving, bringing back the Toonami faithful. We're very happy to have you back as Tom.
Hey, you guys did it. I was just a bad last night.
How do you turn this piece of shit on?
The question is, your voice over the years it's changed a lot. It's very recognizable at some points, but then you do these amazing characters, which is very hard to recognize.
Good.
What do you look for in a character? Like any traits or qualities to kind of shift the tone of your voice, or what degree of change will be in your voice when you do a character?
That's a good question. Well, I design characters vocally based on what the director is telling me. I want to do what's best for the project. And there have been a few projects in recent years where they wanted me to do even two characters within the same show that sound very similar. And that drives me crazy because I want to change them up as much as I can. But sometimes they won't let me, they don't want me to do that. And I wanted to do, for Samurai Champloo, for example, I wanted to do something very different with that voice. I started a lot deeper. And I wanted to take him away from Spike's voice because it's sort of a similar kind of character. But the Japanese client was there, and they said they wanted to be close to the original Japanese, so they dialed me in to do it just a little bit higher than Spike, but basically the same character. And so I have to do what they tell me to do. And in some cases, they'll let me play a little bit, and especially if it's a new show, new characters that I'm working on, we'll get to play. But basically, they'll show me a picture, and that's where it starts. And like when I was saying, when I'm reading words and characters' voices come up, even more so with pictures. There was I'm working on a new show now called Star Wars Rebels. It's amazing. It's coming out in September, and I'm playing this character called Zeb. And when we were first working with the character, we tried all sorts of different accents and things. And the first thing that came up to my mind was sort of a deep, sort of an English type of thing, sort of slurred once in a while. And they told me they like to smack stormtroopers' heads together, so we had a bit of that gruffness in there too. And so, and they didn't want a straight English accent because he's from another planet, so he wouldn't be straight English. So we put a little English, we put a little Australian, just little flavors of all sorts of things. My favorite accents. We made this conglomerate of a character, and it came out really great. I mean, hopefully you guys will really love it. But that's where we start. We always start with one idea, and then we sort of build on that. And there's a team that helps me. And especially on a show like that, there's people from Disney, there's people from Lucasfilm, and everybody's got an opinion. They all want it to be the right thing because this is a character that's going to live on. And I take that approach with every character that I do, even if it's Soldier A, who's going to die in one scene. I try to give him as much life into that one character as I possibly can. That's the challenge. So,
Thank you very much.
thank you.